I'm very sorry that we're... Oh, thanks, Jennifer. I sound like God. No. Sorry to start a few minutes early when you're sitting there sweating. I need to share with you that when I left... Ooh, it's a little echoey now. When I left my home this morning, my bangs were up here, okay? You know? And before that, I thought, oh, I'll wear my hair down. So I understand. We are all hot. We are all sweating. I cannot even believe that all of you came. How wonderful, though, that you're here. I have always said, if Spirit brought you here today, still getting a lot of echo, Jennifer. Yeah? We're getting, ooh, more echo, echo. If Spirit brought you here today, Spirit has something to give to you. So we are grateful for that, and give yourself gratitude for having brought yourself to an hour of spiritual care and hopefully learning. We're going to start with 2 gathering songs led by Nancy. But first of all, yay, Alexa's back in the house. Happiness. Happiness. Stand if you feel like it. We're going to sing 2 songs that I chose because it was Indigenous Peoples Day this past week. So I picked songs that were about peace and about nature. Like a mighty river flowing. Here we go. it happen. Alexa's following along and making it happen. We're all just making it happen. Yay to everybody. It was National Indigenous Peoples this week, so our opening prayer is an Indigenous prayer, and thank you to Linda Fleet for leading us.
Good morning. Does it sound okay?
Bring it closer to you.
Today's prayer is fitting as we celebrated National Indigenous Peoples Day this past week. We can learn from Indigenous people to express our gratitude for the amazing world that holds us. The entire prayer includes thanks for the sun, moon, stars, air, water, wind, animals and plants, and for each other. Haudenosaunee Thanksgiving and greetings to the natural world. Today we have gathered and we see that the cycles of life continue. We have been given the duty to live in balance and harmony with each other and all living things. So now we bring our minds together as one, as we give greetings and thanks to each other as people. Now our minds are one. We are all thankful to our Mother, the Earth, for she gives us all that we need for life. She supports our feet as we walk about upon her. It gives us joy that she continues to care for us as she has from the beginning of time. To our Mother, we send greetings and thanks. Now our minds are one. Now we turn our thoughts to the Creator, or Great Spirit, and send our greetings and thanks for all the gifts of creation. Everything we need to live a good life is here on Mother Earth. For all the love that is still around us, we gather our minds together as one, and we send our choicest words of greetings and thanks to the Creator.
Now our minds are one.
We're going to pass the peace. You guys know how to do this. I say the peace of God be with you. You call back and also with you. Turn around. Say to the hot person beside you, you're not getting too close. Peace of God be with you. Here we go. The peace of God be with you.
Also with you.
Turn around. Say hi. And you can be seated. We have a very few announcements to share. All of the announcements go out in the e-news when Mac is here, which Mac will be again next week. So if you're not getting the e-news, let us know. We want to sign you up. We want to make sure that you know what's going on. So next week is Membership Sunday. I had 2 evenings with the people who are becoming members. I am so grateful for the discussions we had. They were so meaningful to me, and I hope to them. So next week, every person who is becoming a member is going to be sharing something with you. It may be a hymn they chose, it may be a song they wrote, it may be a poem they want to read. I can't wait to hear the piece that everyone wants to bring forward. It's going to be very special. And our very own Mac McDonald, who, by the way, won the Emmanuel College Homiletics, which is a fancy word for preaching award this year. Yay, Mac, we'll celebrate that. I know! I'll tell you, you send our UC out into the world and this is what happens. Mac is going to be preaching next week on community, so we're super excited about that. There will not be a live stream next week. There will not be a recording. If you want to see all this amazing stuff, you got to be here with us. Summer services begin on July 7th. You will remember Cheryl Stenson, some of you. She filled in for me when I was away in January. She was extremely well received. She is lovely, thoughtful, has interesting things to say. So I'm so happy that Cheryl will be with us for 3 weeks. And then following that, Mac is going to preach for weeks, so they can get an idea of what it's like when you do a sermon and you have to turn around Monday and go, oh, I have to do it again this week. Good training for them. So I will be away this week, but you guys have lots to enjoy. We do need help with the tables downstairs, if you're able to do that. Maria is finishing at our meal program. Next Sunday is her last Sunday. So if you want a chance to go down and say bye to Maria and thank you, this Sunday or next Sunday are your last opportunities to do that. We're going to be closed for July and August. In September, we have a truly remarkable team of volunteers, some of whom have been with us for years, some of whom only joined about a year ago, who are ready and able and willing to pick up the reins in September. It's sad and exciting at the same time. On Tuesday night, we have our final week of Something to Think About. We are doing a different spiritual teacher every week. Thank you to those who have come so far. Again, we've had some really interesting discussions. This week we're going to do Mary Ann Williamson. Mary Ann Williamson is, most of you know her. She plants a lot of her wisdom in a book called The Course in Miracles. The Course in Miracles has been my study guide for over 10 years. I find it a source of extraordinary wisdom. So we're going to talk about Mary Ann Williamson and her take on Course in Miracles and the ways in which she can enlighten our journey. That's Tuesday night, 7 o'clock, the last one we're doing. Saturday, September 28th, way down the road, but you want to put this on your calendar. Philip Cote, of course, has carved one of our pew slats into a totem, and it is going to be mounted on the outside of our church at the front. Wow, right? Like, wow. The unveiling is going to happen on September 28th. The exact time is going to be 4:30 to 5:30. We'll let you know. We expect that this is going to be a very large celebration and event. We don't know that anyone has ever carved an old church pew into a totem before. It's an astonishing symbol of harmony and what he calls the eighth fire, where all will become one. We continue to be so graced by his presence and his work. So mark that on your calendar, because you're going to be so super happy you came. Music with Alexa. Thank you, Alexa.
It's hard to imagine a Bible passage that's more beloved than Psalm 23. We hear it and something inside us goes, ah. It's as if we've sat down in the cool shade of a spreading tree on a hot summer day. And Tim is smiling back there. It may seem as if there's nothing more to be found in this song, since we know it so well and have heard it so often. But like so many parts of the Bible, this passage isn't a roadmap designed to lead us in a single direction. It's a treasure hunt, where there's always the opportunity to find something new and precious. Does that sound intriguing? As I read the passage today, it may sound a little different than what we're used to. That's because the reading is from the New International Translation. So picture yourself sitting back under that cool, shady tree as I read this 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He refreshes my soul. He guides me along the right paths for his name's sake. Even though I walk in the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely your goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
Anne. Forgot to give that to you, sorry.
For the people listening online. Hi, people listening online. Who's got something vacation-y planned this summer? What's everybody doing? What you doing, Nancy? Camping? Okay. You know that's why I'm with my wife, right? Right? She is the only other lesbian who doesn't want to camp. Like, let's go camping was never going to come out of her mouth, and I'm like, I'm so in here. It's meant to be. Anybody else? What's anybody else doing? Sorry, what are you doing? Croatia. Golly, how exciting. How long a trip is that? Like going to Italy, except you end up in Croatia. Okay, all right, I got it. Anybody else going anywhere, doing anything? Mona? Are you going? You are going to Nova Scotia. Mona has decided. She wasn't sure this week. Anybody else? Who's going to spend more time in High Park? Yeah? Who's going to hang out in their new town in Tweed? There you go. Maybe not renovating every moment. I'm asking this because Liz just started a new job, and she didn't think she had any time off, but she has realized that she has a few days, very few days. So yesterday we sat down to discuss what we're going to do, okay?
And camping not mentioned. Yay, this love will last forever. I suggested, well, could we maybe afford to go to Halifax? And then I start doing what I do, okay? Oh, because we could do this, and we could do that, we could do this, and we could do that. There's this museum. Let's look and see if there's live theater. Let's see, okay, okay? Because my idea of a vacation is that I should be twice as busy and stressed as I am here. That's the thing I do. Okay? Fortunately, I'm with someone who knows after 24 years that that's the thing I do, and that they just gently sort of erase every second or third thing. But I confess, I have this idea that we have to make the most of it, right? We have to get there and make the most of it. And so I fill up my time a lot. And I do not necessarily come back more relaxed than when I left. I confess that right now. So that's what I wanted to talk about today because it was on my mind this week. This idea that where we want to be, what I talk about all the time is we want to be in peace, right? We want to live with this idea that the universe is supporting us and guiding us, and so maybe we can relax. Maybe we can just be a little chill in our lives. People say, wear the world a little more lightly. We could do that. But that is not often what my life feels like. I was saying to someone this week that my life this week has felt like Bop-A-Mole. You know Bop-A-Mole? Yeah? It's an arcade game where it's got this box with holes in it, and this little fuzzy mole comes up in a different hole all the time, every few seconds, and you have to take the mallet and bop the mole back down into the hole, and you win according to how many times you bop the mole as it pokes its little head up before it goes back down. And she said, well, do you feel like the person with the mallet trying to bop the mole, or do you feel like the mole coming up and getting bopped? And I said, both. Both. Okay? Like, this week, I felt like I am trying to deal with these emotional problems that keep coming up, right? Okay, here's something that needs to be fixed, and here's something that needs to be fixed, and that's really annoying me. And I also feel like life is just, every time I sort of poke my head up, bopping me on the head. This does not sound relaxing, does it? And I do a whole lot of spiritual practice, people. I even lead groups about it. But the reason I didn't quite make it this week, I attribute to one moment in time, which kept me from being able to relax. Okay? It's not my fault. It was the fault of this thing that happened, right? Always me. We were watching some sports thing on the TV, and at the beginning of this sports thing, I think it was international soccer. Is that a thing that's on? Okay. It's in Atlanta. The opening ceremony was in Atlanta, and they had, singing and dancing, and the players all troop out, and they're all standing there. And then this gentleman comes and stands front and center on the screen and says a very, very Christian prayer. Shouldn't I be okay with that? Now, I should be okay with that for two reasons, right? First of all, I do on occasion say Christian prayers, right? And secondly, because I think that praying is a good thing generally. Well, and thirdly, because I lead groups about peace. It was my Bop-A-Mole moment, okay, where I am whacking him, right? I am going, how can you be saying such a traditional Christian prayer with such traditional Christian imagery when most of the world is Muslim or Jewish, and don't we need to, support our Jewish friends right now? And also, they're also Hindu, or they're nothing. And why can you co-opt this moment when the whole world is watching the beginning of this tournament to do this prayer because that's what you believe, because you think people should think what you think? And then I feel like the mole being bopped because I'm going, oh my gosh, we people who are just, want to follow the love that Christ taught and being inclusive like Christ taught, who never tried to convert anyone, we're just being hit over the head with this stuff all the time. You got it? You got it? You hearing any peace here? You hearing any relaxation here? And then I did the thing we do. I need that silver bullet. I had that person in front of me. What is that silver bullet phrase that I could say where they just go, oh my gosh, you're so right. You do that? Yeah? What did I not do here? I didn't do what we are trained to do. I didn't take a step back and say, what's really going on here? We so often just don't take a step back. Eckhart Tolle, one of the spiritual leaders we've done on Tuesday night, says the ego voice, the fear voice in us, the fear voice is always going to speak first, and it's always going to speak loudest, and it's always going to tell us that everything is bad. Okay? It's going to tell us you're helpless, going to tell us the world is bad, going to tell us that this is all, all going to hell in a handbasket. And he was right in that moment for me. And he also says we need to learn, it's not just him, every spiritual path says, we need to learn that we have an opportunity to step back, to do what has been called by some spiritual teachers a strategic withdrawal. A strategic withdrawal. Not withdrawing because we are angry, not withdrawing because we are weak, but withdrawing because we know in this moment we're not being or bringing what we want to this situation and to the world. This idea of pausing, taking a little vacay from judgment, stepping back from having to have an opinion in that moment. Those are hard things to say because we're taught that having an opinion is a good thing and that, changing things is a good thing, and they are. But I can't do that when I'm in that space of shame and blame and judging. All I can do is bring more of that to the world. So I managed to do that. I managed to say, listen to me. Listen to the crazy person I am here, and I need to just step back. Step back from this and say, please, God, guide, however you want to call it, show me what's going on here. Show me what's really happening here. And of course, the first thing that happens is you feel helpless, Anne. And you're scared. You're scared for the world. And you think somehow that the world becoming a more inclusive and loving place is up to you. What's really going on here is that you are doing to him exactly what you think he's doing to you. You're saying my way of being spiritual in the world is right. It's true. Now, I happen to think my way of being spiritual in the world is right, but I can't accuse someone else of having done that if I'm doing it myself. I need to leave room for an inclusive idea that some people simply are in a different place. And that's where they need to be. And Spirit will bring them along the way Spirit needs to bring them along. It's hard to do. But the idea between a strategic withdrawal is to say, at this moment, I need a little vacation from my own thoughts, from this anger pattern, from this no peace pattern, from this judgment pattern, from this policing the world pattern. There's a line in the Bible, we all know it says, the wrath, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. It's a really difficult translation of a passage that actually means the world's progress is mine, says God. I've got this. You don't have to, as I say, police the world. You don't have to judge everybody and change their ways. It's not all on your shoulders. I am working in everyone's life as I'm working in yours, says God. And while I may not see people being pulled into love where I want them to be, I'm prepared to accept that they're doing their best with where they are. And I am prepared to accept that that person who said that prayer honestly believes that he is helping and doing the right thing in the world. And I am prepared to accept that that does not mean that I won't speak the truth of God as I know it in my way. And somehow in that moment of strategic withdrawal, not somehow, it always happens, suddenly there was peace and compassion. And I could act differently in the world. The idea of strategic withdrawal has been written about by, as I say, so many spiritual writers. One spiritual writer characterized it as strategic withdrawal means going fishing without caring if you catch any fish. It's the idea that you are simply being in that moment, and you're not expecting the moment to be anything in particular or specific other than it wants to be. It's the idea of simply being present to what life is bringing you, instead of angry at life because it's not what you think it should be doing. The idea of strategic withdrawal means I don't have to police the world. I can step away at this moment and not have an opinion. I can withdraw and spend time with my heart and my soul and my spirit guide. I can regroup. I can leave the busyness of the world and the busyness of my mind and the patterns of my mind, and I can walk into that forest and sit under the tree. I can sit by the lake for a moment in my mind. I can sit with my cup of tea and look at the color of the cup. I can do whatever it is in this moment to simply pause my life and know that that is such a good thing. You know, we human beings live with strategic withdrawal all the time. We accept that during the light and sunlight, we go out into the world and do things, and at night we rest. We accept that the tides ebb and they flow, the moon waxes and wanes. The idea that there is a fullness of time and a drawing back is part of who we are and how we understand the world. And all we have to do is understand that that can be applied also to the places where we are fighting and judging and complaining and not in a way that actually brings us peace or makes the world better. We can at any point when we feel that come up, we can step back and ask God, just show me something different. And I will wait. I will wait. Now, this is hard, as I say, because we look around, we think everything else is achieving things and doing things, and the idea of stepping back in our life may seem odd. But I'm going to look at Alexa now, because she is a super creative person, and say that most creative people have to step back. I'm assuming that there are times when you create and it flows, and times when you need to not. Yes? I'm getting a lovely nod. It's how we work as human beings. And it's how we work as human beings who want to live in peace and love and our true sense of joy. I was reading a book the other day about 17th century rural agriculture in Britain, because I'm weird, and there was only sports on our TV, okay? I should have said doesn't camp, no sports. Oh well, too late. And they mentioned this practice of wool gathering. Have you guys ever heard that phrase, wool gathering? Yeah? Isn't that a beautiful old phrase, wool gathering? So wool gathering in our context means simply sitting there, letting the world go by, just letting your thoughts wander wherever they want, and not directing them and not expecting anything from them, okay? That's wool gathering. Where it comes from is, as the sheep used to brush against the hedgerows in agricultural areas, obviously, where there were sheep, of course their fur would be pulled out. Their wool would be pulled out, and it would end up on the hedgerows. Wool was very precious. So the poorer people were allowed to go and pull the wool off of the hedgerows and take it home and spin it and sell it or use it themselves. It was very tedious, slow work, because, of course, it would get caught in the brambles and the hedges and the branches and twigs and things like that. So to wool gather, you had to just slowly and rather meditatively keep walking along and pulling the wool off of the hedgerow. And the result of that was something very precious that came to you. And that's where we get the idea of wool gathering. And that is a wonderful spiritual practice. The idea that we can simply step back from the relationship that's causing trouble, step back from the judgment of my brother, step back from the judgment of the guy who was preaching, step back from my worry about the plans I have, step back from thinking other people are doing better than me, step back from thinking people are judging me, step back from the stories that I'm telling myself that are making me unhappy. You got it? You're playing your own game of bop-a-mole? We can step back at any moment. We can simply strategically withdraw and look at our teacup, or watch the clouds fly, or simply ask God in stillness, help me. Strategic withdrawal is one of the most powerful spiritual tools that we have. Strategic withdrawal reminds me of two moments in my church life. One is when I serve communion. I always say it is one of the most meaningful moments because I stand behind that table and I get to say, this is not the table of Roncesvalles United Church. This is not the table of the United Church of Canada. This is the table of God. Anyone who wants to come here is welcome. This does not happen everywhere. I get to share that simple, quiet moment of saying, withdraw from your judgment, withdraw from feeling you don't belong, withdraw from thinking God doesn't love you. Step into grace. And the other one is something I do every Sunday when I'm down in the meal program. Every Sunday when we start the meal program, I say to the people who come, we are honored by your presence. I thank our amazing volunteers. And then I say a simple little Buddhist prayer. When I started to say this prayer, I realized after a few weeks that this quiet came over everybody. They're all waiting in line for their lunch. They're all tired. They're all hungry. Some of them have walked a long way. They're all chatting with their friends. But as soon as I would start this prayer, a quiet came over everyone. And this is the prayer I would say. And it is like, as I say it downstairs, it's like a strategic withdrawal that everyone suddenly steps away from the busyness and the difficulty of their lives into a deeper and more peaceful place. And I say, may every beautiful soul here be filled with loving kindness because you deserve it. May every beautiful soul here be peaceful and at ease because you deserve it. May every beautiful soul here be happy because you deserve it. And at lunch we say, and may every beautiful soul here be fed. Have a great lunch. The quiet that comes over the group and my own heart is strategic withdrawal. We go into simple words, simple assurance, away from the bop-a-mole life of I'm not good enough, you're not good enough, this is not good enough, and suddenly into the quiet spreading tree that Linda read about today, the 23rd Psalm that says, God takes us to still waters and green meadows. But the thing is, God was ready to take us, but we may not be ready to go. This week, after screaming and yelling and shouting while Liz is trying to watch the actual soccer match, I was finally ready to go. To step back, to look for that green shady tree of God's light and grace, to ask for another way of seeing things, to simply let the world be what it is and know that it is there for my good and my teaching, to be grateful for the things that are hard because they remind me to go back to that place of quiet. And to say, for the opportunity that comes to me in every moment to step back into God's love and stillness, I say, thanks. May I remember this. Thanks be to God. Amen.
Please pray with me. Source of life, source of love, God, by whatever name we call you, and however we experience you in our individual lives, hear the prayers of the people today. We pray for peace, always, everywhere, and in each of our hearts. We pray for Sudan and for Ukraine. We mourn with the people of Gaza, and we hope for a soon and peaceful end to this difficult, tragic conflict for everyone involved. All humans long for peace. We say thank you for the beautiful rainbow on Friday and for all of the wonders that surround us. Help us to let the beauties of this world bring us solace, comfort, strength, and joy. We ask for a blessing on the people of Grassy Narrows. Bring them health and encourage our government to act soon and with wisdom and compassion. We ask for kindness and caring for Sarah's new landlords. As we celebrate National Indigenous Peoples Day this week, we're grateful for the ways that hearts and minds have been open to the tragedies inflicted, and pray that we can continue to learn and grow together. This has been a miracle. May we not take it for granted. Amy asks us to pray for Lorna Luke and Rebecca Ness. We offer a prayer for Bill's brother Dan for peace and healing. We ask for a blessing on Peter and Tova for healing. And Bettina asks the blessing on Jean. And as we head into these summer months, may we find and honor the moments of strategic withdrawal, knowing that stepping away can be the most useful and productive thing we can do for the world and for ourselves. God, we make all of these prayers confident that your life endures in all lives, now and forever. Amen. Please stand for the blessing and benediction. I want to thank Alexa. I'm so happy every time you walk through the door. We're so grateful to you. Thank you. We hope we're back soon. So now go out into the world, taking with you the knowledge that at any moment when life is too busy, or life is too difficult, or the world seems too hard, you can step back into the loving arms of your spirit guide, confident in the knowledge that you will be held and refreshed and sent back into the world new. And may the love of God and the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ and the fellowship and communion of the Holy Spirit rest and abide upon you, everyone, now and forever. Amen. We're going to sing our three-part Amen.